that quite big issue of the scandal involved between the AirAsia and Airbus. So in terms of the fact of the fraud, between July 2011 until June 2015, Airbus failed to prevent persons associated with Airbus from bribing others, namely directors and employees concerned with the purchase of aircraft by AirAsia and AirAsia X Airline. The court document alleged between October 2013 and January 2015, Airbus paid $50 million to sponsor a sport team that was jointly owned by two AirAsia executives in Malaysia but was legally unrelated to AirAsia and AirAsia X. The statement of fact did not identify the AirAsia executive but revealed them as members of a board of directors and substantial shareholder at AirAsia X. It also said the AirAsia executive were rewarded with an order of 108 aircraft from Airbus secured by way of improper payment. That's quite a big amount of aircraft. The payment to the sport team were intended to secure or reward improper favor by them in respect of their business. The court documented that statement. This is the fact of the fraud case between AirAsia and Airbus. So then, the court document further described how Airbus employees were going to offer an additional $55 million in bribes until a review of third-party relationship led to freeze of payment. This offer was not finalized, and no payment was made, according to the statement. In the reply statement, AirAsia said it wished to clearly state that it was neither involved in any way whatsoever with the SFO investigation of fraud, nor given any opportunity to provide any information or clarification to the SFO. AirAsia added it vigorously rejects and denies any and all allegation of the wrongdoing. The entering into of each aircraft purchase agreement was never made by a single individual decision, but instead arrived through careful evaluation, deliberation, and the collective decision of the board members after taking account technical specification, aircraft flight performance, and operating economic. There was a statement from the AirAsia. Now we will look further. So the key area is the first one. AirAsia was claimed to act improperly when it comes to board aircraft from Airbus between year 2011 to 2015. In order to ensure the engagement of purchasing of aircraft between Airbus and AirAsia occurred, Airbus were accused involved in paying and offering millions to sponsor a sport team linked the two names of the AirAsia. So in my opinion, it related to the corruption scheme, which is under the bribery, because Airbus giving the million to sponsor a sport team linked with AirAsia to influence an official act deal with purchasing of aircraft. This is the other type of corruption involved by the Airbus. So now I will look at the case 4, page 513. Summary of the facts. At instant, the purchasing agent of Style got engaged with one of the Style vendor owner Sarah. Style vendor is the workplace of the at Edison. So due to the recent decline in the retail industry, Sarah business suffered a decrease substantially in the amount of sale. Ed believed that this was just a short-term trend and thus decided to help his fiancée by guaranteeing $50,000 worth of monthly purchase from Sarah. So to look whether the ad is involved in the fraud scheme or not, referring back to our last syllabus, In case of Ed Nielsen, who act as the purchasing agent, Thai were guaranteeing 50,000 worth of monthly purchasing from its fiance vendor line. Ad action can be claimed under fraud scheme fall into the broad category of the corruption. Specifically, Ad is involved in a conflict of interest purchasing scheme. Conflict of interest occurred when an employee, manager, or executive has an undisclosed economic or personal interest in a transaction that adversely affects the company as a result. Ad is committing the most common type of conflict purchasing scheme. Ad, as purchasing agent, has personal interest in buying on Sarah's line of product. In this case, Ad can be stated has divided its loyalties. He wants to help his fiancé and is not considering that kind of action will adversely affect his employer. Although at first glance his action do not look so bad because Thai high fashion sales have decreased, the store will probably end up heavily discounting Sarah product and losing money. So that's all from me. We will look at the my members discussion. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nur Izara Fiza. Okay, I will proceed with the Asia cases. Okay, I have screenshots a few sentences from the news or the reports. It say that the reports note that legal documents attached to the settlement reveal instances of bribery, including Airbus paying and offering millions to sponsor a sports team linked to two unnamed executives described as key decision makers at AirAsia and AirAsiaX. The reports also say the airlines ordered 180 aircraft from Airbus, with the executive described as being rewarded in respect of the aircraft order, which the document said was secured by way of improper payments. And according to a Reuters report quoting prosecutors, Airbus bribed public officials and hid the payments as part of a pattern of worldwide corruption. Okay, from the case, I would like to say that the fraud involved is fraud against organizations, which is under corruption. And there is 4 types of corruption, which is conflict of interest, bribery, illegal gratuities, and extortion. But the types of corruptions that involved in this case is conflict of interest. Okay, conflict of interest mean any scheme in which an employee, a manager, or an executive has an undisclosed economic or personal interest in a transaction that adversely affects the economy as a result. Okay, the reason why I said it is a corruption under conflict of interest, it is because from the case we can see that the allegation were made by the United Kingdom Serious Fraud Office SFO to 2 independent directors of AirAsia who were accepting bribery of AirAsia in order for AirAsia to purchase an amount of airplane from the Airbus. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
The next question is, how does the expression, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, relate to the consumer fraud? Most of the consumer fraud takes place by fraudulent businesses that offer something out of the box to the customers just to take away the money paid by them and with no intentions of delivering the product for the value. As a result, the expressions "if it sounds too good to be true" is connected to consumer fraud, owing to the reason that all businesses are set up to earn profit, and if they are offering something like extraordinary, which sounds unreal, then there is a high chance of the business being fraudulent, and the consumer will become a victim.
Okay, for the question 10, which is, can e-business fraud risk ever be completely eliminated? The answer is no fraud risk, including the e-business risk, can ever be completely eliminated. This is because the fraud perpetrators will always find a new ways to perpetrate their fraud even though we have foolproof prevention system. So in addition, the reason we often rely on the detective control is that it is very impossible to prevent all the fraud.